Have you ever walked into a room and felt like no one noticed? Like your presence had no weight? What if I told you there's a way to change that? Without saying a word. Without trying too hard and without pretending to be someone you're not. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers in history, knew this struggle. As the most powerful man of his time, commanding respect wasn't a matter of force, it was a matter of character. Before we dive deep into this guide, do me a favor. If you've ever felt invisible or misunderstood, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And stay with me till the end, because this isn't just about gaining respect. It could fundamentally change your love life, your friendships, your career, even how you see yourself. So let's step back. Before we break down the 10 life-changing suggestions from Marcus Aurelius on how to command respect instantly, let me tell you a story. There's a tale often told about Marcus Aurelius during the later years of his reign. One cold morning in the imperial court, a group of senators waited impatiently. The emperor was late, something he rarely was. When he finally entered, his face calm but eyes shadowed with fatigue, he said nothing. He simply nodded, sat down and began reading scrolls. Focused, silent, composed. The room stilled. The senators stopped talking. Even his enemies leaned in, unconsciously mirroring his posture. He hadn't raised his voice. He hadn't demanded attention. But somehow, everyone respected him. That's not charisma. That's virtue in action. That's what we're here to talk about. 1. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Do you remember the first time you truly fell in love? Not a crush, not infatuation. I mean the kind of love that left your heart racing at a single text. The kind of love where you memorized their laugh like it was your favorite song. The kind where just being with them made life feel less lonely. Think back. What was it about that person that pulled you in? Was it their charm? Their looks? Or was it the way they made you feel safe, seen and understood without even trying? Now flip the question. What do you think made you lovable in their eyes? You see, Marcus Aurelius wasn't writing about love, not directly, but he was writing about something love can't exist without: respect. And this quote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one," hits at the heart of what so many of us get wrong in relationships. And in life, we talk about being loyal. We say we're honest. We promise to do better next time. But when the heat turns up, when we're tired, anxious, or afraid, do we really live those words? Let me tell you a story. Maybe it's your story, maybe it's mine. A guy once fell deeply in love. Let's call him Leo. At first, everything was perfect. Laughs, late-night calls, shared dreams. He told her she was safe with him, that he was different, that he wasn't like the others. But over time, his actions started slipping. He snapped when he was stressed. He lied about little things, thinking it didn't matter.
He didn't cheat, but he stopped showing up emotionally.
One day she looked him in the eyes, not with anger, not with hate, but with silence. And she walked away, not because she stopped loving him, but because she stopped respecting him. Leo begged, apologized, made promises, but none of it mattered anymore. Because words are wind, and that's when it hit him. He had spent so much time talking about being a good man. He forgot to actually be one. This story? It's not just Leo's, it's mine. Maybe it's yours too. And Marcus Aurelius? He's not just giving us advice, he's handing us a mirror. So ask yourself, not as a viewer of this video, but as the main character of your own love story, are you living in a way that the people you love can respect you even when you're not around? Because respect is what love stands on. And once it's gone, no apology, no grand gesture, no promise can build it back. So instead of thinking about what a good man or woman should be, just be one. Be honest, be kind, be strong when it's easier to be weak. That's not just how you gain respect. That's how you keep love. 2. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Have you ever been hurt by someone you loved deeply? Not just a little argument, not a cold silence, but truly betrayed? Maybe they lied. Maybe they left without explanation, or maybe they loved you just enough to keep you close, but not enough to stay. Think of that person for a second. The one who said they'd never hurt you, and still did. Feels heavy, doesn't it? There's a story. Maybe you've lived it. There was a girl, let's call her Maya. She loved a guy with all her heart. We'll call him Arjun. They shared dreams, playlists, late-night conversations about the future. They had their place and their song, and even a secret language only they understood. But then, one day he changed. He became distant, cold. And before Maya could even understand what was happening, he was gone, ghosted, like she never existed. She found out later there was someone else. Someone he'd been seeing for months. Someone he chose while still pretending to love her. Maya was devastated and angry. She wanted to show him what he lost. Post better photos. Act like she didn't care. Make him jealous. Make him feel the pain she carried every night. That's when a friend gave her a quote. It was from Marcus Aurelius. "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." At first it didn't make sense. She didn't want wisdom, she wanted justice, closure. She wanted him to suffer like she had, but something about that line stuck with her. Because if she became cold like him, if she lied, manipulated, and faked smiles, wasn't she just becoming another version of him? And if she did that, he wouldn't just have broken her heart. He would have changed her character. And that's when she made a different choice. She chose to heal, not for him, but for her. She stopped posting for attention, stopped looking at his stories, stopped trying to prove anything. She poured herself into growth, into her dreams, into rediscovering the parts of her that he never even noticed. Months later, Arjun saw her again by accident. At a bookstore. She smiled, polite, poised, peaceful. He looked surprised, like he expected pain, maybe even bitterness, but she had none, because she didn't become like him. She became better, and that was the real victory. So if you're watching this and someone has broken your heart, remember your greatest power is in your response. You don't need to stoop low to rise high. You don't need revenge to feel worthy. What you need is to protect who you are, because when you don't let their betrayal change you, when you rise with grace, not anger, that's when you become unforgettable. 3. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Can I ask you something? What's the biggest lie you've ever told? In love. Maybe it was small. A "I'm fine" when you were breaking inside. "I love you" when the spark had already faded. Or worse, maybe you told someone what they wanted to hear. Even when your heart knew better. We've all done it. To protect them. To protect ourselves. To avoid pain, conflict, or that terrifying thing called honesty. Let me tell you a story. Maybe it sounds familiar. Maybe it is your story. There was a guy named Rohan, and he loved a girl named Zoya. Their connection was deep, books, poetry. The way she'd squeeze his hand twice when something scared her. Rohan felt lucky, like he had finally found home in a person. But then came the cracks. Little things. He started hiding messages. Not big lies, just half-truths. "It's nothing," he'd say. "Just a friend." He wasn't cheating, but he was lying. And Zoya could feel it. She'd look into his eyes and ask, "Is there something you're not telling me?" And every time he said no, a piece of trust chipped away. You see, Marcus Aurelius said it simply, "If it is not true, do not say it. If it is not right, do not do it." But Rohan wasn't thinking like a philosopher. He was thinking like a scared boy. Until one day Zoya found the truth. Not from his mouth, but from his phone. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just looked at him like a stranger. Because once someone lies to you, something inside you changes. She walked away that night, and Rohan was left with the one thing honesty could have saved: regret. He didn't just lose her love, he lost her trust. And once that's gone, you can't buy it back with roses or apologies. You earn it only by living it. And that's the lesson. In love, truth isn't optional. It's oxygen. Every time you lie to someone who loves you, you're not just hurting them. You're telling them you don't deserve the truth. You're saying you're not worth honesty. But when you choose to be real, even when it's hard, even when it might break hearts, that's when people respect you. That's when love stands a chance. So if you're watching this, ask yourself, is there a truth you're avoiding? Is there a lie, big or small, that's standing between you and someone you love? Don't wait for them to find it. Don't let silence speak your betrayal. Speak the truth. Live what's right. Because the person who walks in truth doesn't just keep love, they deserve it. Or you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Have you ever lost someone you loved and felt completely powerless? Like no matter how hard you tried, no matter how many texts you sent or tears you cried, you couldn't change their heart? Maybe it wasn't just losing them. Maybe it was losing yourself in them. If you've ever been there even once, you know exactly how heavy that kind of heartbreak feels. There's a story here, maybe it's your story too. There was a boy, Arav, and there was a girl, Mira. They met at a bookstore, fell in love over coffee and conversations about dreams they were scared to say out loud. At first it was magic, laughter, plans, the kind of connection that makes you believe in destiny. But as time passed, life happened. Expectations grew heavier. Misunderstandings crept in like slow poison. One day a fight turned into silence. Silence turned into distance. And distance into goodbye. Arav was devastated. He tried everything, messages, letters, standing outside her house like the movies. He thought, if I can just fix this, if I can just make her see. But she didn't come back. And he felt broken, powerless, like he had no control over anything anymore. That's when he stumbled on a quote from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. At first it made him angry. How does controlling my mind help me? How does it bring her back? But slowly he realized something. He couldn't control Mira's heart. He couldn't control her choices, her feelings, her path. But he could control something far more important. His own healing. His own mind. His own peace. He started small. Each time the sadness flooded in, he didn't fight it. He faced it. Each time he wanted to blame her or blame himself, he paused and breathed. Each time he missed her, he sent silent gratitude instead of desperate messages. And slowly, day by day, he began to find something he thought he had lost forever. Strength. Not the loud kind. Not the kind that makes you pretend you're fine when you're not. But the real kind, the quiet power of someone who knows. Pain is real, but so is healing. And here's what I want you to hear. If you're watching this, you might not be able to control who stays. You might not be able to change the way someone loves you or doesn't. But you can control what you become through it all. You are not powerless. You are the master of your mind. And in that you hold a power greater than anything this world can break. So let me ask you, what are you choosing to hold on to today? Pain, anger, hope, peace? Because whatever you choose becomes who you are. 5. Confine yourself to the present. Are you still in love with someone from the past? Not because they're perfect, but because of who you were when you were with them. Do you ever catch yourself rewinding those moments? That first kiss in the rain? That long late night call when they said, I've never felt this way before? That one sunset where everything just felt right? And then, boom, reality crashes in. They're not there anymore. Maybe they walked away. Maybe you did. Or maybe life just got in the way and there was no villain, only distance. But somehow you're still there, living inside memories, living inside yesterday. Let me tell you a story. It's not fantasy. It's real. And maybe it's yours. There was a girl named Anya and a boy named Dev. They met in college. She wore oversized sweaters. He loved sketching her while she studied. It wasn't just love. It was poetry in motion. But life, being what it is, changed. Anya got a job in another city. Dev stayed behind. They promised to make it work. And for a while, they did. But distance doesn't just separate people physically. It stretches the heart. And sometimes it tears it. Eventually, the call slowed. The text became shorter. One day, without saying it out loud, they just stopped trying. Dev was shattered. But he didn't cry right away. Instead, he lived in the past. Every day he scrolled through old photos, replayed her voice notes, reimagined what he could have said differently, what he could have done to make her stay. And that's when he found a line in a book that hit like thunder. Confine yourself to the present. Marcus Aurelius wasn't talking about love, but Dev read it like it was. Because here's what Dev finally realized. You can't heal if you keep living inside a moment that's already over. You can't love what's in front of you if you're staring into the rearview mirror, and you can't move forward if your soul is still holding hands with someone who's no longer walking beside you. So Dev did something radical. He stopped checking her profile. He stopped imagining their old cafe and their what-ifs. He started choosing now. The sunrise this morning. The friend who texted to check in. The stranger's smile at the bookstore. His own breath steady and present. And you know what happened? He didn't forget Anya. But he finally started remembering himself. And that's what I want to say to you, my friend watching this. You don't have to erase the past. But don't let it steal your present, because this moment right now is the only one you truly own. So ask yourself, what are you missing right now? Because you're too busy reliving something that no longer exists? Close the old chapter, not with bitterness, but with grace. Because the love story you're meant to live next starts the moment you return to now. 6. You must let go of the outcome. Have you ever tried to force love to stay? Not with anger, not with control, but with hope. Hope that if you loved them harder, stayed a little longer, waited just a little more, they'd finally choose you. Maybe you've been in that space before. That haunting space between holding on and letting go. If you have, then you already know it's one of the loneliest places to live. Let me tell you a story. Maybe it feels a little too familiar. There was a girl named Ria and a boy named Kabir. They met at a mutual friend's wedding, danced to a song they didn't even know, but it became theirs anyway. The way he looked at her, like she was the answer to a question he never knew he was asking. They fell fast. They fell deep. And for a while it was perfect. But then came life. Kabir's career took him to another country. Ria's dreams rooted her in the city they fell in love in. At first they made promises. We'll figure it out. Distance won't break us. Love is enough. But love, as powerful as it is, isn't always enough to hold two people walking two different roads. The calls became shorter. The time zones became more confusing than comforting. And one night, Kabir said the words that broke her heart. I don't know if I can keep doing this, Ria begged. Not with desperation, but with love. She reminded him of their dreams, their plans, their connection. She cried. She reasoned. She waited. But deep down, she was clinging to something she couldn't control, the outcome. That's when a mentor shared a line with her. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't dramatic, but it saved her. Let go of the outcome. At first, she fought it. How do you let go of the very thing you've built your world around? But slowly, painfully, she realized something powerful. You can't control someone else's path. You can't twist fate with emotion. You can't love hard enough to make someone stay. But you can choose peace. So Ria let go. Not because she didn't love Kabir, but because she finally loved herself enough to stop bleeding for something she couldn't hold. And something magical happened. The pain didn't vanish, but her power returned. She started living again, not for what might be, but for what was. 7. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? Have you ever said something in the heat of a moment to someone you loved, and then spent days, months, maybe even years wishing you could take it back? Not because you didn't mean it in that moment, but because your anger spoke before your heart could. If that hits home, let me tell you a story. It might be about you or someone you used to be. There was a boy named Aryan and a girl named Sana. They were the kind of couple people noticed in restaurants, not because they were loud, but because they radiated something soft, something sincere. They had a kind of love you root for, but like all great love stories, it wasn't perfect. One night, a small thing turned into something big. Sana was upset about something Aryan forgot, a promise, a plan. She didn't yell. She just looked disappointed. And that triggered him. Aryan had been stressed, tired, feeling like he was always falling short. And in that storm of emotion, he snapped. He raised his voice, said things like, "You're always so dramatic. Nothing I do is ever enough for you. Maybe this just isn't working." The silence that followed, it wasn't peace. It was the sound of something breaking. Sana didn't cry. She just stood there. Then she said one line Aryan would never forget. "I never wanted you to be perfect. I just wanted you to care." And she left. A week later, Aryan sat alone, replaying every word, not what she said, but what he did. And that's where Marcus Aurelius's wisdom strikes like lightning. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? What caused Aryan's anger? A forgotten plan, a misunderstanding, a moment. But what did it cost him? Trust, connection, maybe the one person who truly loved him. Anger is a fire. It flares up fast, but it burns slow. And long after the words are said, the damage stays behind. Aryan would have done anything to rewind that night, to pause, to breathe, to respond with love, not rage. But love doesn't wait for you to learn after the explosion. It needs you to be present before the damage. So if you're watching this, I need to ask, is there someone you've hurt with your anger? Someone you pushed away because your emotions spoke louder than your heart? Don't wait for time to dull the regret. Say what you couldn't say then now. Because anger may be loud in the moment, but silence after love is lost is deafening. And if you still have the chance to choose gentleness over fury, choose it. Because love doesn't die in storms, it dies in the cold that follows. 8. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Have you ever been hurt by someone you gave your whole heart to? Not just a breakup, but the kind of betrayal that shakes your belief in love itself. The kind that makes you ask, was any of it even real? If you've been there, then you already know, revenge doesn't always look like anger. Sometimes it's silence. Sometimes it's becoming colder, harder, more distant than the one who hurt you. But let me tell you a story. One you might find painfully familiar. There was a guy named Ishan and a girl named Tara. Tara loved fiercely. The kind of girl who remembered the small things. Your favorite snack, the way you talk in your sleep, the songs that remind you of your mom. Ishan was lucky to have her. But somewhere along the way he stopped seeing her as a gift and started seeing her as an obligation. He got distracted, ambitious, flirted with attention from other women online, thinking it's not a big deal. Tara's always there, until she wasn't. One evening she found the messages, the secrets, the lies. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She just looked at him like she didn't recognize the man she loved anymore. And then she left. Ishan expected rage. He expected a dramatic goodbye. But all he got was quiet dignity. No revenge posts. No public humiliation. No messy rebound stories. Just silence. Weeks passed, months. And Ishan kept checking her profile, half expecting her to be broken. But all he saw was grace, strength, healing. Tara didn't try to hurt him back, because she knew something powerful. The best revenge is not to become like the person who hurt you. She could have lied back, played games, made him jealous, but she chose peace over pettiness, and that choice, it made her unstoppable. Ishan, on the other hand, had to live with the weight of knowing he lost someone who never tried to make him pay for it, and that was louder than any revenge. So to you watching this right now, if someone broke your heart, betrayed your trust, left you in a storm of confusion and pain, you don't have to become what they were. You don't have to match their darkness to prove your strength, because your power doesn't come from revenge. It comes from rising anyway, healing anyway, loving again anyway. Let them wonder how you stayed kind. Let them be haunted by your grace, because the best closure is when you no longer need to be like them to win. 9. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I'm about to criticize. Have you ever blamed someone you loved for not being perfect, while secretly knowing you weren't perfect either? It's hard to admit, isn't it, that sometimes the very thing we're angry at them for is something we're guilty of too. Let me tell you a story. There was a boy named Arav and a girl named Kiara. They were together for 4 years, through exams, breakups with friends, job hunts, and family drama. They saw each other at their best and worst. Kiara was always late, not disrespectful, just lost in her own world, running from one thing to the next, always with a book in her hand, coffee half drunk in the other. And every time she was late for a date, Arav got furious. Not annoyed, furious. He'd say things like, "You don't value my time. This always happens. I'm tired of excuses. Maybe I'm just not a priority to you." And Kiara? She didn't fight back. She just tried harder next time until one day she stopped showing up altogether. Weeks later, after the breakup, Arav went through his journal. And that's when it hit him he had his own patterns. He was emotionally unavailable when she needed comfort. He forgot her birthday once because of work. He never read the book she gifted him, even though she wrote a note on the first page. And the words of Marcus Aurelius echoed in his mind. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize. Arav was so focused on what Kiara wasn't doing that he forgot to look at what he wasn't giving. And that realization, it broke him more than the breakup ever could. Because it wasn't just about losing her. It was about realizing how easy it is to judge when you don't see your own reflection in the mirror. So if you're watching this right now, I want to ask you something not everyone has the courage to face. Are you mad at your partner for being distant, while you've been emotionally unavailable too? Do you criticize them for not listening, while you've already planned your reply before they finish talking? Do you call them insecure while hiding your own fear of being truly seen? Because the truth is, we all mirror each other. And love doesn't grow from pointing fingers. It grows when we hold up a mirror, look at it honestly, and say, I've done that too, and I want to do better. So before you speak, pause and ask yourself what Marcus Aurelius did. Am I about to criticize a version of myself? That question alone could save a love worth fighting for. 10. Love the one you're with, but love them in a way that sets them free. Have you ever loved someone so much that you wanted to hold them close, so close, that you were afraid of letting them go? Maybe it's a relationship that felt too good to let slip away. Or maybe you just didn't want to face the thought of them finding someone else. But in doing that, did you ever wonder if you were the one holding them back? I want to tell you a story that might hit home for some of you. There was a boy named Raj and a girl named Mira. They were inseparable, two halves of the same heart. From the moment they met, there was something magnetic about them. Their conversations flowed like a river, never running dry. They shared secrets, dreams, fears, and laughter. But there was also something Raj couldn't deny, something deep inside him that wasn't easy to admit. He feared losing Mira. He feared that if he didn't keep her close, she might slip through his fingers. So over time, Raj started doing what he thought was the right thing. He tried to keep her too close. He would always check in on her, always make sure she was okay, always find a reason to be around even when she was fine. When she needed time to herself, he couldn't understand why. When she wanted to hang out with her friends without him, he felt rejected. When she started to dream of traveling on her own, Raj held her back because, in his mind, he needed her to be with him. But Mira, as much as she loved him, started to feel something else, something that wasn't love. She felt smothered. She felt trapped by someone who loved her so much that he was making her lose herself. And then one day she turned to him. With tears in her eyes, she said, Raj, I need to breathe. I need to be me. I love you, but I also need to love myself. And it hit Raj hard. His love for her, his overwhelming need to be with her, to never let her go, wasn't the love that set her free. It was the kind of love that chained her, and chains, no matter how golden, are never love. And that was when he remembered Marcus Aurelius's words, love the one you're with, but love them in a way that sets them free. In that moment, Raj realized that love isn't about ownership. It's about freedom. It's about trusting that if you love someone deeply, you should be okay with letting them grow on their own terms. If they choose you again, it's because they want to, not because they have to. So if you're watching this and thinking about your own relationship, I need you to ask yourself, are you loving someone in a way that allows them to be who they truly are? Or are you trying to fit them into your own expectations? Because love isn't about keeping someone locked in a cage, no matter how pretty the bars are. It's about trusting them to fly, even if their wings take them away from you for a while. And if they come back, that's love. So set them free. Set yourself free. And remember, true love isn't built on closeness, it's built on freedom. Respect isn't about control. It's not about manipulating how others see you. It's about becoming the kind of person who respects themselves so deeply that others can't help but do the same. Marcus Aurelius didn't demand respect. He lived in such a way that respect became the only response. So here's the challenge. Which of these 10 suggestions are you willing to start practicing today? It might not be easy, but it will be real. And in a world full of noise and ego, real always rises. Start with one, embody it, then another, and another. Soon you won't need to ask for respect, it'll follow you. And here's the secret that no one tells you. When people truly respect you, love changes too. You attract better relationships. You set better boundaries. You stop settling for less because you finally know your worth. And that changes everything. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.